wonderful people of the interwebs. This is Anne-Marie. I love being weird because that's what makes me me, and I've always been weird. I have always been weird. Okay, oh, that was a story I was gonna tell you guys about the other day. Should I tell you guys about my, how my weirdness started? I guess early signs of my unique self. When I was a little girl, I talked to sticks. I first started that outside with my dog. I would have my dog follow me around, and I would pick up sticks from the trees and twigs and hold them and walk around and talk and tell a story, basically. And I started bringing the twigs inside, to which my mom was like, no more bringing twigs inside. So that was a bummer, because I was starting to want to do it in my room, pacing around in a circle without my dog, because my mom noticed it, and my parents, and saw me pacing back and forth in the backyard. I mean, I paced around. I mean, I was in elementary school at this time, pacing around, doing a story, and they thought it was weird. They thought it was odd. My dad wanted me to stop doing it. So eventually, I started only doing it in my room because I knew I was being shamed for it, and I knew that it was kind of weird. And now I'm blushing about it. Where it gets really embarrassing and weird, but we're gonna go into it because I just feel like I'm gonna say embarrassing stuff about myself today confidently and laugh about it because it's therapy for me. So eventually it migrated inside, and my bedroom was upstairs next to my parents' bedroom. And I had this little plastic stick thing that was a piece off of one of my Barbie things, a tent or something that you had to put together, and then you could put Barbie in her little camping tent, whatever the fuck. I had this little pink stick that's just a piece of something that attaches to something else. It's not even it was a toy. It was its own toy. It was a piece of a tent thing that attached to another piece to create the tent, and then you put the actual tent part around it, and then you put Barbie inside, whatever. Well, I guess I really liked the way that stick felt in my hand, because that is what I used for the rest of the time that I was doing it. And when I did that inside, my sister used to sit outside of the door of my room and listen to some of the stories that I made. And I don't remember any of the stories that I made, really. Some of them were detective stories, some of them were science fiction stories, but it was usually always about heroes and about a hero saving people from the bad guys, something like that, something where it's heroic. When I was outside, it would be me and my dog being the heroes, saving the day, or whatever was the story was about. I don't know. And my sister would listen to them, and my sister and my brother teased me incessantly about it. My brother more so than my sister, but she thought it was funny. I had a little place where I would put my stick inside, and it was on the other side of this desk that I had, and it was in a way so that you couldn't see it just from standing in the room. You couldn't just see it. It was behind something. So they found my little stick hiding spot, and of course they would steal it, take it, or move it, and I would cry and get so upset. And I'm 5 or 6, by the way. This is brutal for me, because I'm 5 or 6 years old, and I'm holy crap, I need this stick. Why are you taking this stick away from me? And why are you telling me that I'm weird for having it and talking to it? And then, but here's a kicker. Then I started putting little pieces of scotch tape, a little piece of scotch tape on the end of it. Don't know. I a piece of Scotch tape on the end of it. And the Scotch tape was just like bending, just flapping in the breeze. And I'm just walking around with a stick with the piece of tape hanging off of it, telling stories, pacing around in my room. And my mom would try to catch me doing it because she thought it was funny too, and they wanted to laugh about it. So she would come into my room, and if I was pacing around and talking and she came into my room, I would hide the stick behind my back, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, "Nothing." But I was really bad about hiding it. So most of the time, what I ended up doing was putting my hand behind my back and dropping the stick so she could clearly hear and see that I had dropped the stick on the floor, and that I was doing it again. So that was the thing that I did all for a long time, and it was really strange. And there was another part to that. Every time I used to watch movies with my family, we usually had like once a week we would have pizza and movie night or something like that when I was pretty young. And every time we watched a movie, I would say about 30 minutes before the movie ends, I would run upstairs to my room. I mean, I made a jolt upstairs I ran up to my room and I got my stick. And you know what I did? I paced around my room and I came up with an alternate ending for the film we were watching, because a lot of times it was movies we'd seen before, and then sometimes it wasn't. But when it wasn't, I usually stayed to watch the whole movie. But if it was a movie that we've seen, I would go upstairs and I would make a different ending to it. I used to do that with like the movies I watched too. Like I remember one of the movies, the Peter Pan, the Disney cartoon Peter Pan. Oh my God, I was obsessed with Peter Pan, and I would play Peter Pan and pace around in my room and like make up stories about the characters in Peter Pan doing stuff and going on new adventures, different adventures than they've been on before. So that's the kind of things that I would do. And that was between kindergarten and 5th grade was when I was doing that. All the way almost up to 5th grade. I'm not gonna lie, it's weird. But I don't think it was right to be shamed for it when I was younger. I think it should have been encouraged because it was a creative expression, but I didn't understand it, and they didn't understand it, and they teased me for it, which I'm over that now. I love that I talk to sticks. And there was a little piece of tape hanging off the end of the stick, and it was like, "Hello, my name is Stick, and I would like to hear all of your stories, Anne-Marie. Line up all of the stuffed animals too." I used to line up all of my stuffed animals on my bed, or like I had this little kitchen thing, and I would put my little stuffed animals in the seats with a little cup of tea or something, and then I would like pace around my room and basically tell them a story, and they were like my audience. So yeah, that's my weird thing, one of my weird things from when I was younger. There are other weird things, trust me. I can get to those. But since the word weird was being used today, I decided to make my video about weird. So that is how I was weird as a child. And I am happy that I did that, because it shows exactly what kind of a person I am. And that's a person that loves to create. I've been loving to create stories, make up stories since I was in kindergarten. I even won an award for a story I wrote in kindergarten. But I wasn't encouraged through the rest of school to really excel. So that kind of sucked, but that's the education system, how it was. But yeah, those are my thoughts for today. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Be safe and be nice to each other, okay? Bye.